Hey guys, so this is going to be my WWE Superstar Shakeup 2019 analysis. WWE just had its annual shakeup for Raw and SmackDown this past week, and there were some good things and some bad things about it, so I chose to do my annual shakeup video to dissect and talk about and further discuss each person who got traded to Raw and or SmackDown, and giving my thoughts on said person and seeing what I think they'll do for that brand. I think this shakeup has been very lackluster, so to speak. I think every single year it's kind of getting worse and worse. Don't get me wrong though, there were some good choices to get traded on either Raw or SmackDown, but I feel like a majority of the show just didn't feel special, and I just felt like it was just missing something huge, and I will touch on that more in depth in my analysis. So starting off with Monday Night Raw, we have The Miz going to Raw. So my issue with The Miz going to Raw is not that he's on Raw. I mean, I think The Miz is great anywhere he goes, but The Miz never really succeeds when he's on Raw. I think there's a boatload of extra talent on Raw, so The Miz was always someone that got overshadowed when he was on that brand because they do have that extra hour. Now, I know SmackDown is going to Fox in 6 months and it's going to be said to be 3 hours, but regardless, whenever The Miz was on SmackDown, he was always a focal point of the SmackDown roster. Now with Raw, again, I don't see The Miz flourishing as well as he did when he was on SmackDown. Now, of course, I know why The Miz got traded to Raw, because when SmackDown goes to Fox in 6 months in October, The Miz still has a contract with USA Network for his show, Miz and Mrs. So, of course, he was going to go on the Raw brand. That was obvious. So, him coming out as the first shake-up superstar to go to Raw was quite obvious. And then we got Aleister Black and Ricochet as a team on Raw permanently. So for this, I kind of hate this idea because I think both guys are such single stars through and through. I just feel like putting two extremely talented men in tag teams or women just doesn't make sense. These guys scream single stars and they're single stars through and through. I mean, we saw that in NXT. So just pairing them in a tag team just because they're acrobatic and do really fun aerial moves, I just think that's silly. Hopefully they go their separate ways soon, because I just think that they are really good in the singles picture. I don't feel like they are a tag team, but I might be wrong. I don't know. I just don't really agree with that. And then next up, we get an NXT debut. We get the War Raiders. But wait, they're not the War Raiders. Vince McMahon has decided to change their names to the Viking Experience. What the fuck is a Viking Experience? Like, I heard a couple of people saying that Vince McMahon is trying to cash in on the Game of Thrones hype. I've heard other people saying that they can't have the name War on the main roster because WWE is trying to kind of veer away from all of that violence and all that BS. I don't buy that. They say that they don't want the name War in their title of their name, yet they're totally okay with going to Saudi Arabia and taking their money. What? Logic. What? So, Vince McMahon also renamed them Ivar and Eric. I don't get it at all. I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The War Raiders was good enough as it is, but now the Viking Experience. What the fuck? What the fuck is a Viking? I don't get, like, I don't fuck with Game of Thrones, so I don't give a fuck, but it's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. These guys are so talented. I just don't get the name change. Like, it's so dumb. They could have had a ton of different, better ideas, but they go with the Viking Experience. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks like this, because everybody on Twitter is lighting this up. Everybody's renaming their usernames to Experience because it's just so dumb. Like, I've never seen such a stupider name than the Viking Experience. The main roster is where people go to die. Let's say that. Then we see a video package for Cedric Alexander moving to Raw. So 205 Live, I'm very, very, very nervous for. They are losing a lot of their top stars. And 205 Live, as we know, it's this small microcosm in a big macrocosm, which is WWE. And with 205 Live having such a small, tight-knit community, they're losing a lot of their top people. So I'm very worried to see how 205 Live is going to do if they maybe do away with the brand. I think that's probably going to be in the near future because I just don't see enough star-studded talent to keep 205 Live afloat. I mean, yeah, you got Tony Nese and Mike Kanellis and a few other people, Kalisto, but you're losing your top guys. So I don't know if they're going to flourish, but right now it just looks like it's dwindling. And I feel bad because there's so many talented people on 205 Live. And then we get my favorite trade to Raw, which is Andrade and Zelina Vega. Yes, I am so excited for these two. These two work so well together. They are an amazing, amazing team. Andrade is the perfect heel. He is so incredible. And I just think that he's the future of this generation. I think that he's going to kill it. I said on Twitter how I would love for Seth Rollins' summer program to be against Andrade. I would love to see Rollins versus Andrade at SummerSlam. I think that would be obviously 6 stars, let's say 166 stars, because they will work so well together. And I think Andrade definitely is going to kill it. I can't wait to see what he's going to do with these people on the Raw brand. But Andrade is definitely someone to look out for, in my opinion. And with Zelina Vega by his side, she's the best manager right now. I think she's absolute fire. And don't take anything away from Zelina. She's actually really good in the ring too. She's been wrestling for probably a decade now, but she's really, really good. So don't sleep on her also because she's so fucking amazing. Andrade is definitely the wild horse of this Superstar Shakeup. I think he's going to go really far, and I'm just so excited to watch him grow as a performer, and I think the sky's the limit for Andrade. I'm so happy for him. And then we get Rey Mysterio going to Raw. So I made the joke on Twitter. I said, you know, it's so funny because Andrade can't breathe without Rey Mysterio being right behind him. Andrade and Mysterio need to separate. I get that they put on epic matches, but at the end of the day, like, they did nothing with either of these men when they were on SmackDown. They were just having forgettable matches every single week. Not that their matches are forgettable, it's the storylines. Like, they're not doing anything with them. You know what I mean? So nothing came of these matches for either man, which is why I'm saying it's forgettable. They put on classics in the ring, yes, but if there's no stipulation or if there's nothing to fight for, it's forgettable in my opinion. So Rey Mysterio and Andrade, I really hope that they don't touch on Raw. I mean, I know it's going to happen sooner or later, I get it, but I just want them to go their separate ways for at least 4 to 6 months because we got, what, 20 matches with them on SmackDown? It's enough for me. It's enough for me. Maybe at next year's Mania for an awesome stipulation, like a hair versus mask match. That's something that I'd be interested in. But I don't want them to have nonsensical matches with no stipulation involved. Something fun has to be included, you know, because they had so many matches already that I need something different from them in the future. And then we see the Usos are on Raw, as is Naomi. So the Usos are an amazing tag team. I think they're one of the best going right now. Naomi is a great, great female athlete. I'm excited that she's on Raw. I think hopefully she could really shine on Raw. I think Naomi is somebody that's constantly being overlooked, and she totally reignited herself with the Feel the Glow gimmick. So hopefully she could do something really good on Raw. I think that Naomi is amazing. I would turn her heel. That's me personally. I think she's an amazing heel, as she is a great face, but I just love her heel work. I think she could work really well as a heel. So my suggestion is to turn Naomi heel in the coming months. And then we see a graphic come up that Eric Young got traded to Monday Night Raw. And I was talking about this on Twitter a few days ago. Eric Young has been really bulking up in the gym. He's getting super jacked and super fit. Vince McMahon loves anybody that totally changes their look to get more and more jacked and pumped. So I knew that something big was going to happen for Eric Young, and lo and behold, he is now on Monday Night Raw. Eric Young is one of the talents who I absolutely think is the epitome of versatility. Eric Young can totally alter his look, his gimmick to work out for him in the best way possible. Now, granted, they didn't book Sanity well at all, so that's totally out of Eric Young's control. But Eric Young is very malleable. So if they put him in a gimmick or a certain role, he'll do it to the best of his ability and ultimately succeed at what he's doing. So that's the beauty behind Eric Young. And I think Eric Young is going to succeed in the coming year with whatever he's given on Raw. Hopefully he's a good mid-carder. Hopefully he could challenge for the US title, because I would love to see that. And then my favorite pick going to Raw officially is the lady of WWE, Lacey Evans. I love Lacey so much. Lacey comes out. She has a match with Natalya as a #1 contender to face Becky Lynch. Lacey Evans, of course, wins with her amazing, amazing moonsault. She gives Natty the woman's right, and she does her amazing moonsault, which everybody seems to be putting over on Twitter. And I agree. I mean, her moonsault's so good. I think Lacey's actually shutting up the non-believers and the doubters on social media. She definitely put on a solid match, and a lot of people are really praising Lacey's mic skills. Lacey is so freaking good on the mic. I can't wait for Money in the Bank. We get the man, Becky Lynch, versus the lady, Lacey Evans. And the main trade to Raw is AJ Styles. So AJ Styles is going to be huge on Raw. AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins, AJ Styles versus whoever. It's going to be amazing. AJ Styles is so good in the ring. So AJ Styles is the main focal point of the trade to Monday Night Raw from SmackDown Live. I think AJ's going to kill it. I wouldn't necessarily propel him to the main event with Rollins right away. I kind of would save that for down the line. I think Andrade should be the one to go up against Rollins, as Andrade being a dominant heel and Seth Rollins being the big over babyface. So I think that's more of a money match, considering Andrade is the future. AJ Styles is in his 40s. You know, he's 42 years old. I prefer Andrade, but I would love to see AJ Styles versus Rollins down the line, not right out the gate. Save that for later. Then starting off SmackDown Live, Finn Balor on SmackDown. We get the IC champion on SmackDown Live. I think he's going to do much better on SmackDown than Raw. I think that third hour really complicates things and it really screws with the talent. So I think Balor is going to do a lot better on SmackDown Live. And then we get to find out Lars Sullivan is officially on SmackDown Live. It seems that his gimmick is to just go after any ruthless aggression era people. And he took out R-Truth this week and he was stalking Carmella. So I'm curious to see what Sullivan's going to do. I definitely think he's going to be one of the top heels. He's not the top heel, and I'll get into that in a few minutes, but he's definitely going to be a solid mid-card worker, and he'll just work his way up into the main event maybe in about another year or so. He definitely has to build himself up and build his brand up on SmackDown Live, because a lot of people still don't know Lars at all. There are a lot of the casual fans don't watch NXT, so he's gonna, build himself up over the coming months, and I think he's very intriguing and he's deceptively athletic. He's really good for his unique size, because he's not a giant, but he's still very big, muscular, and quite tall, but he's not super, super tall. He's not like 7 feet, but he is very unique and different, and I think that's what I like about Lars, is that he's not like everybody else. He stands out in a good way. So hopefully he'll get pushed sooner than later, and I think he's going to be a solid mid-card worker for the next couple of months for sure. And then we get Ember Moon to SmackDown Live. I'm super happy about Ember going to SmackDown. I think that's going to give her career a resurgence that it rightfully needed. On Monday Night Raw, they did nothing with this poor girl. She was so good on Raw, but they didn't push her and catapult her to the heights that she deserved, in my opinion. They were always so focused on like Nia, Alexa, Ronda. They didn't push Ember where she deserved to be pushed, and that was into the forefront. But hopefully with SmackDown Live, she definitely gets pushed, because she's an incredible athlete, and I think she's an amazing babyface. I'm so excited for Ember. I think she's going to soar to all new heights on SmackDown for sure. Ember versus Becky for the SmackDown Live women's title, book it. Book it now. And then we see Bayley on SmackDown Live. Bailey is somebody who I have a lot of respect for. With all the rumors of Sasha circulating all around the internet, I have to say that I really do appreciate that Bailey is there, even if she's unhappy and frustrated with her position in WWE. I really can appreciate somebody that just goes forward and moves forward on a brighter note and just, you know, tries to do the best they can, and she's doing whatever they tell her, and I really do respect that. It shows that she has a lot of professionalism, and I think that Bailey will do decent on SmackDown. I think her gimmick, honestly, is killing her. I think that's her problem. You know, I've said this on Twitter multiple times. I think if she had a different gimmick, I think that she has a lot more carte blanche, so to speak. But being that she's in this like 5-year-old type gimmick with the hugging stuff, it's just very, very trite, and it's getting old really quick. So I think if she had a different character and maybe she was a heel, I think she'd have a lot more freedom to get over. And even though she's over with the audience as children, I don't think a lot of the adults seem to like Bailey, and she definitely got booed out of the arena, and I felt bad because she's just doing her job. You know, this is the gimmick that they have chosen for her, and she's just doing it to the best of her ability. So I think that they're gonna have to kind of maybe give Bailey a repackage soon, because, you know, she's a solid worker, but if her character isn't doing anything anymore, she's gonna have to change it up. So hopefully they can help her out with that. And then Paige comes out. Paige said to the Iconics that she has a team for them. So we're thinking the Sky Pirates, Kairi Sane and Io Shirai. No, they're putting Asuka in a tag team. Why? Asuka is a single star. Stop putting these talented people in tag teams. For the love of God, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Okay? Now, I like that they're giving Paige something to do, but at the end of the day, Asuka's so much more better than just a tag team worker. You kidding me? And then, of course, we get Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane is decent in the ring. I prefer Io Shirai, but Kairi's good, taking nothing away from her. I just don't think that Asuka should be relegated to the tag division. And that is taking nothing away from the Iconics. The Iconics are phenomenal. I love them. Legends only, right? But they are tag workers. They're a duo for a reason. You know, you have Billy with the amazing mic skills, and Peyton's more of the in-ring worker. So I just don't really agree with Asuka being in the tag division. I get it gives her something to do, yes, but she's a freaking single star through and through. Then we see a graphic for Buddy Murphy going to SmackDown Live. So 205 Live, as I mentioned earlier, is taking a lot of hits because they lost another heavy hitter for their brand. 205 Live, as I said, is a small little community in which has amazing talent, but a lot of these talents, they're not big star-studded names. And now that they lost Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy on the Superstar Shakeup, I think that they're really hurting, and Buddy Murphy is amazing in the ring, and I'm totally for this decision because I think that his body of work should be showcased on a larger scale, and I think SmackDown Live is the perfect home for somebody like Buddy Murphy. But taking nothing away from 205 Live, I think that he really propelled that Cruiserweight division when he had the Cruiserweight title for 6 months straight, but I don't necessarily think that 205 Live is going to stay afloat if they keep taking these big names from the brand, you know, and I'm getting a little nervous for 205 Live. I think if they keep taking names away from 205 Live, I unfortunately think it's going to be rendered obsolete soon. So we'll see what happens, but I'm super happy for Buddy Murphy going to SmackDown Live. Well deserved. So Vince McMahon comes out and he says that the next person he's going to announce is the biggest acquisition of SmackDown. Elias, music hits. And to be honest with you, I know a lot of people see this as like a joke, but I think Elias is actually going to be the top heel on SmackDown. I really think that Vince is strongly behind him, and Elias can get the crowd in the palm of his hand. That's how incredible he is on the mic. And he's a very solid in-ring worker if given the ability to work. A lot of times he's getting squashed by legends, and unfortunately it's just kind of not good for Elias. Now, a lot of people have said, well, at least Elias is still getting these big segments, But these big segments don't mean anything if there's no end goal for Elias. You know, wins and losses do matter eventually. They do. And hopefully he gets to shine on SmackDown Live. Now, the big acquisition Vince is talking about is, of course, Roman Reigns. Now, I think we all saw this from a mile away. Roman is going to obviously succeed on SmackDown Live. He's going to carry the brand, I'd imagine, along with Kofi Kingston. But here's my thing. What I said on Twitter is this. You can't have a good guy without a bad guy. Now, Roman and Elias had this great segment in the ring together. I think Roman's going to be the face of SmackDown along with Kofi, and I think Elias is actually going to be the main heel. And I think Elias is finally going to get elevated and pushed to the stars. I really do. I really think this is going to help Elias's career. I think that Vince really sees it for Elias. I really do. I really, really do. And I hope that Elias is going to be showcased in the true light that he deserves, and that is the main event picture. I definitely see Elias flirting with the main event scene come SummerSlam. I would love to see Kofi Kingston versus Elias at SummerSlam. I really would. I think that match, they would put on a clinic. I think it would be amazing. And I don't care if Elias wins. I just want Elias to be propelled in that direction. I think Elias is bigger than the mid-card, you know? And the thing is, for anyone that says, oh, Elias should go for the IC title, Elias is already fought for the IC title and they didn't put the belt on him. Enough is enough. Elias is a talent where he can get 25, 30,000 people in the palm of his hand in an instant. That's a star right there. That is a star. Elias has paid his dues for over 2 years. It's time for him to move up the ladder, okay? And hopefully something big maybe can happen at Money in the Bank. We'll see in the coming weeks. I'll get into that in another video. But I think Elias has a big, bright future on SmackDown Live, and I couldn't be more proud. As you know, Roman's always going to be the main guy, but I'm excited for Elias finally getting propelled in the right direction because he was stagnant on Raw. So now that he's, you know, it looks like he's going to be doing something big. Like I said, you can't have a babyface without the awesome heel. It takes two to tango. It takes two to make a story really work. So Elias is definitely going to go far. I know for a fact he will. Then I quickly wanted to get into the supplemental picks that were announced via Twitter. We have Chad Gable to SmackDown, Apollo Crews to SmackDown, Mickie James to SmackDown, Heavy Machinery to SmackDown, and Liv Morgan to SmackDown. So I quickly wanted to touch on this because everybody knows I love the Riott Squad. Heartbroken. I am heartbroken. I'm happy for Liv in the sense that she will get pushed as a single star, but the Riott Squad, I'm going to miss them so much. I felt that the Riott Squad were never really given anything substantial for being there for a year and a half. They were there for a while. Riott Squad were a faction for 18 months, a year and a half. And the fact that they were only seen as jobbers just kills me because I feel like they're worth so much more. Ruby and Sarah did announce that the squad is completely done, so they're all going their separate ways. They did announce that via Instagram, and I assume Sarah Logan's going to be with her husband in the Viking Experience. And Ruby hopefully is, you know, Ruby's a fucking workhorse, okay? I love Ruby to death. I've been said this for months and months and months. Ruby is a workhorse, so hopefully she gets an increased role on Raw. Hopefully she's in the title picture because she better be flirting with that Raw title, especially if Lacey Evans does not defeat Becky Lynch. I want to see Ruby in the picture, you know? I'll get into that in another video when I give my Money in the Bank predictions, but I'm just going to miss the squad. I think they're all amazing and they're all so talented on their own, but I think that they brought something different and unique as the Riott Squad. You know, they were the girls that were always overlooked in NXT, very underappreciated, and they formed this faction together, you know, to riot, to not take any BS from any of the people on the show, and unfortunately, they were fed to all the bigger stars, and they did what they were told. But at the end of the day, I just feel like the Riott Squad really didn't live up to their true potential. They didn't really get to scratch the surface. And it's unfortunate because I had so many booking ideas for them. I had Sarah and Liv taking the tag titles and freebirding the titles for a while, or Sarah and Liv taking the women's tag straps and Ruby having the main title for the women's title. That would have been lit, but they didn't capitalize on these girls, and it's a fucking shame because they could have had amazing storylines with the Riott Squad, but unfortunately, they just fed them to the stars for 18 months straight. And it's bullshit because they had a year and a half to make these women credible, but they didn't. And that is so fucked up, you know? They lost so much more than they won. I think they only won 12 matches in 2018 and they lost like 90. That's how fucked up it is, you know? So hopefully Liv does good things on SmackDown. I'm just heartbroken. I'm going to miss the squad so much. Squad for life, baby. I'm going to miss you girls so much as a squad. And I know they're always going to be loving each other and looking out for each other, but they are separate, all of them now. So we'll see what they could do. So I did think that the Superstar Shakeup was lacking a lot. It definitely was very lazy. I felt like it was very predictable and obvious. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys were a fan of going to Raw and who you liked going to SmackDown. Let me know what you thought about the squad breaking up, the Riott Squad, of course. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It inspires me to film a lot more content for you guys. And please follow me on my social media accounts at Twitter and Instagram at Valina WWE. I will be back very soon with another video for you guys. I love you guys so much. Bye.